In 2016, I worked as the graphic designer for a mega church in the area. And one day after our weekly meeting, my boss turned to me with some concern on her face and she said, "By the way, has anyone told you about the prophecy yet?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she told me that a local woman had had a dream, confirmed by prayer to be prophetic, about the next huge earthquake, the big one, hitting in February of 2017. It didn't, but the church took the opportunity to get its staff and facilities prepared, and so I am here with you to share a couple of useful points for you to take home. You guys, you live in a fault zone. So, first things first, let's make a plan. Let's make a plan now, before we need it, instead of after, because the last thing you want after getting off of Mother Nature's own roller coaster is to solve puzzles. Like, for instance, do you know how to turn the gas off to your home in case of a fire? How about, I love that. How about, do you know if you live in a tsunami zone and what to do about it if you do? Here's one. Did you know that in cases of crisis, it's very common for local communications to go down? Everybody wants to use them. However, long-distance communications tend to stay open. That means that in the case of a shake, you're more likely to be able to text Dallas than Ballard. So, here's your homework for tonight. You're going to go home. You're going to find an out-of-state contact, somebody you trust. You're going to give everybody here their number, and they are now your emergency contact. If you can't get in touch with your people, you can text out-of-state guy, and he can text them, or she or they. And in this way, you can stay in touch, even if you're having a hard time getting through locally. And you can gossip. I mean, when's the last time you spoke? Next, let's talk about preparing your home. People get squirrely when we talk about disaster prep, which is fair. There is a contingent of enthusiastic participants online, giving it sort of a reputation. But I am here to let you know it is neither weird nor paranoid to prepare materially for a potential and even probable outcome. Anyone who drives with jumper cables will tell you that's just being responsible. So, let's go over the broad strokes of how to build an earthquake kit. Number one, clean food and water, stuff you can access without power. I'm talking things in bottles, cans. If you have a water filter, that's great. At least a couple of days, but ideally up to 2 weeks. Next, we want emergency supplies. First aid kits, the classic. Gloves and masks, flashlights, batteries, radios, anything that's going to help in the immediate aftermath. Following up, meds, anything you're going to need regularly, and I include the whole family down to pets in this. And finally, documents. IDs, passports, insurance information, anything that's going to help you clean up afterwards. This all should be kept together in an easy-to-find, safe space because, again, we don't want to be solving riddles after an earthquake. Now, you have your plan, you have your kit, the ground starts shaking. This is it. What do? Do you know? Do you remember? I'm sure we all remember the classic, which is get down and cover your head and hold on. But what happens if you are anywhere but next to a desk? People are most likely to be injured by falling objects in a quake. So this means keeping your head and neck safe is of utmost importance. Get down immediately, avoid windows, they can break. Avoid anything on shelves or the shelves themselves if they're not anchored into the wall. If you can keep a cover, that's the table, that's great, do that. That includes staying in your car if you were driving while it happens. Other than that, the name of the game is to avoid being the tallest, most hittable object in the room, just in case things do start flying. And avoid doorways. They're not actually safer than the rest of the house, that's a myth, and they do have doors in them, which can swing. And how much would it suck on top of everything else to crush your hand? Don't do it. If you're like me and you grew up in the area, you probably remember that earthquake drills were pretty scant. You get under the table, follow a teacher to the parking lot, mom picks you up, you get McDonald's on the way home. That's not gonna work here probably, so take these resources. I only barely scratched the surface myself. Local authorities and local psychics agree. We're gonna have some earthquakes, so we should probably be ready. Thank you.